A council meeting in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro is expected to sit today at the Feather Market Centre in Gqeberha for the election of office bearers and the inauguration of the newly elected councillors. The meeting was postponed on Friday last week following a letter from the Cooperative Governance MEC, Xolile Nqatha, saying the acting city manager, Anele Qaba, did not have any authority to call and preside over the meeting. The council meeting is expected to elect a new mayor, speaker and the chief whip and establish a government for the metro. It is a hung council with the DA and the ANC each having 48 seats in the 120-seat council. Either of these parties would need the support of smaller parties to take power, as the EFF with 8 seats said it will not support either. Lerato Fekisi is there. Lerato, a very good morning to you. I can imagine a lot of anticipation this morning in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. What can you tell us?
A lot of anticipation, Desiree, a lot of expectant hearts. Like you said earlier on, last week the council meeting was postponed to this week, Monday, after a letter from MEC of Xolile Nqatha revealed that the tenure of acting MM had actually come to an end. And Mr. Anele Qaba, who is the acting MM, was saying that the reason why he postponed the meeting was that he wants to make sure that as we start this new phase of leadership, we started off on a good note with peace and stability. And in order to prevent fighting, he sought best to postpone. But after the council meeting, we went to speak to the former mayor and we were asking him, how he feels about the meeting being postponed, and he was saying, the DA and his partners are ready for the council meeting to go ahead, and they were ready last week, and they were saying that what's more important now is not for anyone to really win, but for good governance come back into the metro, because services, Desiree, have really been on a back foot because of political instability in the metro. And he was saying that if anything, he really hopes the council meeting this morning will sit, because above all trying to come first or second or who becomes mayor, what's important is taking services to the people, which is the center of what these elections were about. But Desiree, like you said earlier on, it's not going to be easy. The DA has 48 seats together with the ANC. And for anyone to win, they've got to get all 11 seats of the other smaller parties. Now that's going to be hard, because already we have heard that some of these 11 parties, the smaller parties, some are going to the ANC and some are going to the DS. Already, even with the smaller parties, they don't have the majority. And then to even make things worse, last week I think the ANC really felt a bit betrayed, because for a long time there were rumors that the EFF is going to partner with the ANC in the metro and thus perhaps win full governance in the metro. But then a day before council, we heard EFF leader Julius Malema announce that nationally he will not partner with any ANC government. So I think that was really a spanner in the works for the ANC, who was so confident, come the council meeting, we are going to govern. So it's going to be interesting this morning to see who partners with who, and does the EFF perhaps change their mind? We'll have to wait and see, Desiree. But a lot of expectation, but above all, I think generally people just saying, can we just get the ball rolling, because on the ground it's the people that are suffering because of what's going on in this council.
Lerato, we're talking about developments last week, but of course there were marathon meetings over the weekend. Do we have any latest information as to what these meetings yielded?
Yes, we have heard for a long time, I don't know if you're aware, but for a long time people have been asking who is the mayoral candidate here in Gqeberha, because other political parties, when there was still the election time, they were on the forefront and showing every single person who was voting for their parties that this is the face that you're going to vote for. But for the ANC, there were questions as to why did they not reveal their mayoral candidate. But yesterday, after a PEC meeting was had, we have heard that the mayoral candidate here is Eugene. She will be the one that is going to be the mayoral candidate here, and we've also heard there's a mayoral candidate Buffalo City as well. So I think now, slowly but surely, after the interview process, after checking off credentials, which I've heard is a new criteria now in the ANC in terms of who comes into power, checking the academic records, we have heard now that at least in the metro there is a mayoral candidate who then becomes the face of the ANC should they come into power.
Lerato, are you able to tell us anything about Eugene, the only female mayoral candidate from the ruling party?
Yes, I actually was doing some information on her yesterday. I just want to try to bring that up quickly. No, I'm not done. I'm just bringing up some information for you now. I am aware that she is not someone, Desiree, who's necessarily new to the political scene, that she's someone who's been in the political scene for quite a long time. And her name actually kept on coming up during the elections, but we kept on asking ourselves, will she actually become the one that becomes the face of the ANC? Because we are aware for a long time that there are other people whose names are full. But Eugene Johnson is a former trade unionist in the late 1980s who led the ANC structures in the northern areas of Gqeberha. She also served as a councillor from 2016 to 2011 during the era of Cade and Ndumiso Mapaza. So we're speaking about someone here who has served in the ANC structures, who has served under a former mayor of the ANC, and someone who also led the former trade unions in the late 1980s. So obviously, after the interviews, they felt that she was the best person, Eugene Johnson, because of her former history within the political structures, and also someone who understands the logistics and the structures within the ANC to be the face of the ANC here in the Metro.
Let's just talk about the council meeting itself. I'm sure fireworks expected, but as you said, people want to get on with business. What are we expecting, Lerato? Are we expecting to have a smooth process, or are we anticipating hiccups once again?
Desiree, in this metro, it's never ever smooth. Even last week, which was the first council meeting, where you think that the councillors who haven't really been sworn into powers yet will perhaps not be as vocal about certain things, but they were vocal from every single party, ANC, DA, ACDP. Everyone was just really either saying, let's get on with the council meeting, and people are trying to delay it, must stop it. So we know it's going to be dramatic because both parties, the ANC and the DA, know that there's absolutely no way they can get a full majority unless the EFF yields to their or they yield the EFF's demands. And also it's going to be interesting because all the smaller parties are also saying that even if I come to a coalition with the DA or the ANC, I've got my expectation as well. I want to become a speaker. I want to become a mayor. So it's going to be interesting to see that when these smaller parties do join the ANC and the DA, what have they put on the table? Are they saying, if I become part of your coalition, I want to become a speaker. If I become part of your coalition, I want to become a mayor. So those are the logistics now and the talks going on to say, we are going to join your party, we don't mind, but give me this specific seat. And we saw, Desiree, last year how bad that can get, where you have one party with one seat saying, give me the mayorship, although I just have one seat. So it's going to be an interesting council. There's going to be drama. It's always expected in the metro, especially because things are not as easy at all in this council in terms of where the seats and the numbers stand.
Lerato, thank you so much for setting the scene for us. And what Lerato is saying there, talking about people vying for positions, just makes one think about stories that came out over the weekend about how the ANC and the IFP struck their deal, and with some of the considerations being outside of the municipalities, but also having provincial implications. But those are stories we'll continue to talk about. On to the story now. 687 new